Now, some of you guys are still having difficulty with problem number 10. And I know it's a long process, and some of you guys, as you guys go through the test, you skip it, or you just give it a guess. Remember that every point matters, and you want to be able to try to get each one correct. This is the first test that you guys are taking for semester 2. We want to be able to cancel the x's, the y's, or the z's. In this case, the x's look easy to cancel, or the z's. So let's go and cancel the x's. If you cancel the z's, you should get exactly the same answer. But for now, let me cancel the x's. I'm going to grab the first one and the last equation. I want them to cancel, so I'm going to multiply the first one by -1. That'll give me -2x minus 3y minus z is equal to -5. The bottom one stays the same. Now in this case, the x's cancel and the y's cancel. That happens at times, which is fine. Give me 2z is equal to -2. Divide by 2, z is equal to -1. Don't worry, this happens a few times, which is fine. It actually will make the problem easier. Now we want to cancel the x's once again. So let's go and grab the first one and the second one. And I'm going to multiply the first one by -2. Now remember, you want to cancel the variable twice. We were trying to cancel the x's, so if you did it once, even though two of them cancel, continue canceling the x's once again. So it gives me -4x minus 6y minus 2z is equal to -10. The second one stays exactly the same. That cancels, so it gives me 2y plus z is equal to -9. Now, ideally, you want to be able to combine those two on the next step. But because they both cancel and we have the value of z, I can just plug this in here. So it gives me 2y minus 1 is equal to -9. Move the 1 to the right, becomes a positive. So -8. Y is equal to -4. Then you can go and plug in both of them into either one of those three to give the value of x. But for now, we found the value of y. We know that z is not correct because that's -1. So it's not too much work. If you just make sure you draw your arrows, write down the numbers so you guys can keep track in case you make any mistakes. It's so easy to just go back and see what you did. Let's continue with problem number 11. Problem number 11, it says which of the product is equivalent to 2x squared minus 32 over 4 minus x. So we just need to be able to simplify. Let's go and deal with the top first. What can I factor out? You want to be able to take out the common factor first. So I can take out a 2. Inside, I'm going to have an x minus 16. X squared minus 16. On the denominators, if you notice, this is not written correctly. We want to be able to rewrite the x first, so be -x, and that's a +4. Let's continue on. We have a 2 on top. I want to be able to factor this out. This is the difference of two squares. X squared is a square, 16 is a square, so it will be just x minus 4, x plus 4. Denominator, remember the first number is negative, take out a -1. So we end up with -1 times y is -x, -1 times y is +4, -4. Be careful. That cancels. So 2 divided by -1 is -2 multiplied by x plus 4. So your answer is letter D. Let's continue with problem number 12. It says, on a recent test, Jeremy wrote the question, x squared minus 36 over x minus 6 is equal to x plus 6. There's different ways of doing this. Some of you guys are cross multiplying, placing over 1, cross multiply, and then solve. Some of you guys are factoring the numerator and then simplifying. So let me try that first. That is the difference of two squares, so it'll be x and x, negative 6, positive 6. On the denominator, we have an x minus 6. The x minus 6 cancels, so we just have x plus 6 is equal to x plus 6. Let me just continue solving for x. I'm going to move my x to the left, becomes a negative x. My 6 to the right becomes a negative 6. So they both cancel, 0. They both cancel, 0. That is true. So that means that we have many solutions, or it's always true. So we know A and B is not an answer. Now, we have to notice that on the denominator, we have a restriction. The denominator cannot be 0. The only value that will make this 0 is 6. So it's always true except when x is equal to 6. Because if x is equal to 6, the denominator is 0, which will give us an undefined value. Problem number 13. We have a multiplication. Just like we covered before, if we have a multiplication, we just need to factor each one of them and see what cancels. So let's go and factor each one. Let me see if I can make it fit. First, is there a number that divides 3 and 18? Take out the common term. 3. Do they both have an x? Yes. So 3x. Inside we have a x plus 6. 3x squared plus 18x. On the denominator, is there a number that divides 1, 10, and 25? No. Do they all have an x? No. Double parenthesis, so it'll be x and x, and we have a positive 5 on both. Factors of 25 are 5 and 5. That gives me 5x, and 5x is 10. On the numerator, on the second fraction, take out the common factor. One number divides 3 and 15. 3. Do they both have an x? No. So 3 times x will be 3x, and 3 times 5 will give me 15. Denominator, we have the difference of two squares. So it'll be x minus 6, x plus 6. So let's see what cancels. The x plus 6 cancels, the x plus 5 cancels. And that's it. So we have 3x times 3, it will be 9x. Denominator will be x plus 5, x minus 6. So the answer is A. Number 14. What is the simplest form? So just like we did on number 11, we want to be able to take out the common factor and simplify afterwards. So just reduce it. So let's go and start with the numerator. So what number divides 3, 18, and 27? Let's go and take out the common factor. 3. Do they all have an x? This one has an x, 3 x's. This one has 2, and this one has 1. So we can take out one of them. How about the y's? This one has 1, this one has 2, this one has 3, so we can take out one of them as well. Inside, what do I need to multiply 3xy to get 3x cubed y? So I need 2 more x's, x squared. 3xy times y is 18x squared y squared. So it'll be positive 6. I need one more x, and I need one more y. And 3 times y is 27, will be positive 9. I only need an x, but I do need 2 y's. So just be very careful when you go through this process. Say, okay, I need 2 more x's to get 3 x's. I need one more x and one more y. And on the last one, I need x, y to the third, so I just need 2 more y's. On the denominator, we have a 3xy. That will cancel. So I'm left with this that I can factor. Double parenthesis. Factors of x squared are x and x. Factors of 9 are 3 and 3, and let's not forget the y. So there are 2 of them. The answer is letter D. And the last problem, number 15. What are the solutions? Remember, let's go and make this a positive and this to the opposite. So let's go and bring on the negative to the top. Just like we covered on the problem number 2. Factor the denominators. So I can rewrite this as x times x. We have an equation. Remember, the first step is to factor the denominators because we want to be able to cancel the denominators. Therefore, I'm going to multiply each one by x. The whole purpose, whenever you are having an equation and there are denominators, is to cancel all of the denominators so it becomes an easier problem. On the first one, nothing cancels, so I have x times 1 is x squared. Let's go and make this a positive, that's a negative, so it gives me one of the x's cancel, minus 2x. And on the last one, they both cancel, so we have is equal to 3. Now I want to be able to solve this. It's a quadratic equation. I'm not going to move my 3 to the left so I can make it equal to 0. We have x squared minus 2x minus, or plus 3, minus 3, no, plus 3, equal to 0. Now, as we try to factor this out, it gives us x and x. Factors of 3 are 3 and 1. They both have to have the same sign. So they're both negative in this case. That gives me negative 1 and negative 3 is not negative 2. It's negative 4. So this cannot be factored. Even though it looks like it cannot factor it. So we have two choices. We can either complete the square, because this is even, or quadratic formula. There's no number on the front or a leading coefficient, and this is even, so I prefer to complete my square. Now, also, if you guys notice your answers, you should be aware that you cannot factor it. So be careful. Your answers do not show whole numbers. Just like we did on number 2, we had whole numbers, but on this one we don't as our answers. So let's go and complete the square. If you are using the quadratic formula, just be very careful. This is so much faster and easier. I want to be able to complete the square, so what number do I need to add? I'm going to take half of this, which is negative 1 squared. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. So I'm going to add 1 on both sides. Remember, your formula is b divided by 2 and then square it. You take half of negative 2 and then you square it. Now I can complete my square. It'll be x and x. Factors of 1 are 1 and 1. They both have to be negative. I'm going to rewrite it as 1. Now I can get rid of the square by taking the square root on both sides. The square root and the square cancel, so x minus 1 is equal to square of negative 2. I have an I. I have a negative, so it'll be an I. And you'll stay as square of 2. Now remember that when you take the square root on both sides, we have two answers, plus or minus. Last, move the 1 to the right, becomes a positive 1. And that's my answer. So be careful. All of the answers look very similar. So the first number is positive, so I know it's now B or D, and we have an I, so your answer is D. So this will conclude the lesson for today. Thanks for taking the time to go over the website, and please email me if you have any questions. Have a great day.